to a brand new wave, drowning out the noise that's tame. Liberty whispers through the brave, breaking free from every chain. Nullify the rules they crave, crypto beats that pave the way. Anarchy with minds that's safe, algorithms new dawn today. Out of bounds and out of sight, building futures pure and bright. Escape the grip and win the fight. Welcome into the legacy ride. Beyond control we take a stand, casting off the iron brand. Freedom flowing through our hands, revolution's our command. Decentralize the way we plan, all together we expand. Breaking shackles for the clan, in this journey we're unpanned. Out of bounds and out of sight, building futures pure and bright. Escape the grip and win the fight. Welcome into the legacy ride.
We're here. Welcome,
Holy-
everybody.
Where am I?
We're in the Matrix. We're in a vacuum.
Podcast.
We're on the fringes of outside space, as the Rugrats would have called it. So,
That's true.
you
Hey,
and you can, while you're out there in that vacuum of outside space, why don't you go over to w.dg, use Legacy Right down there, scrolling at the bottom or the top, depending on what you're watching, if it's on
Yeah.
mobile, and go get yourself some caffeine, some great caffeine.
yep.
Wake up,
Do not
wake up, everybody.
support Dubby, or do
Wake up.
but don't tell.
Wake up.
We didn't hear it from us.
Whatever you do, whatever you do. Well, hello there, Lisa. Welcome. Yeah,
Hello.
but whatever you do, don't snort Dubby, and I would suggest don't drink the the grandpa's denture juice.
Yeah.
I forget what it's
I've
called.
had enough in this work for one day. Thank you very much. I don't need to go that far.
Welcome from all the way from England.
Hmm.
Hello, yeah. So very good evening for
Hey, what's
Katie.
going on?
Actually, middle of the night for Katie.
Actually, kind of a nightmare over there right now from a free speech standpoint.
Yes.
I mean,
Sad.
honestly, like, the amount of censorship we ever faced here pales in comparison to what they're dealing with right now. It's actually kind of crazy.
And it all started. Yeah. It all starts with those TV licensing from about 25
Actually,
years ago.
It's sadly probably the diaspora of our own intelligence ops just sort of spreading throughout the network that's left after the central network core crashed basically under Trump, right?
Mhm.
That's
So
pretty much what's happening.
So you are saying that Robert Maxwell and his colleagues co-opted the British government for Israel?
I'm saying that that might have been an arm of it, but that if it was in fact what I think it was, that it was probably more of an all of scumbag society approach, right? So yes, and would be my answer.
That right there actually kind of makes it's intriguing, because that actually kind of makes Karl Marx correct in his dissertation on society, him and Engels, but at the same time they got it so wrong.
Yep. Well,
Mm.
the
Hey, hey, Guy Fawkes Day is long gone and past.
but we can all all admire the spirit of the original comic that the more recent popularization of Guy Fawkes has sort of flown under, right? Like that view of a potential Britain almost seems to be the one that they want to build, which is a bit terrifying when you think about what the Finger actually got away with in the comic that they didn't have the heart to put on screen for the film.
I mean, it's very interesting how movies.
Oh no, I know you guys totally still celebrate it, and that's like a cool fucking holiday. Honestly, we should have more holidays about lynching public figures.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting though when you think about it, how certain movies can sprinkle inklings of truth, even if they're trying to kind of distract you with their own little conspiracy propaganda.
Yeah.
But V for Vendetta basically predicted Britain in 2025. It really did.
It actually predicted the whole world during COVID.
Oh, yeah. And COVID during 2020, 2021, Britain just in general with all their free speech and all their free speech laws and
the EU's Digital Services Act and all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy nonsense, and also all of the sort of inverse crazy nonsense where there are people who are shouting freedom and then doing stuff like being okay with intergovernmental data systems being installed just because they're claiming it's there to fight illegal immigration, which is dumb. It's like saying that the digital ID in Europe was meant to, or in the UK was meant to somehow stop illegal immigration. It's not true. It doesn't make sense. You know, like, but so there's like ditto heads on both sides going along with sort of guiding us down the happy trail to mass surveillance hell.
And we got an inkling
I got
of that.
Plan.
Yeah. We got an inkling.
But I got a plan.
We pretty much kind of got an eye opener to that for why the war in Ukraine is still going on. Of course, there's talks right now. I guess they're in another peace deal talk, and I guess the word of the wise of the news. I mean, Zelensky's open to elections again, but who knows where that goes. But the fact is like Ukraine really was a battleground for digital governance. I mean, they literally released it, the smartphone governance, a Fed now, basically. I mean, for what we refer to it here and what the Fed's kind of working on.
But the system that we started trialing in Afghanistan.
That too. Yeah, that too. It's very interesting how a lot of these endless wars kind of establish certain precedents. Digital identify.
It's weird how like it all percolates into some form of agitating domestic violence and then ratcheting up security. You know, like whether it's aimed at agitating, sectarian violence from right-influenced people during left-dominant regimes or left-influenced people during right-dominant regimes. Right? Like it seems to me that the levers that they're cranking are effective at creating the kinds of extremism they want in order to install a technocratic rule.
Well, they've been at this for a long time. Of course, they're gonna, know how to push buttons and who to do it to and who to pass it through in order to get the results that they want.
I mean, not to push back on Joe, but this has been going on since the Roman Empire.
There's always been esoteric knowledge that has been held by power, and that it's what gives power its power, right? This era's esoteric knowledge, though, is even unknown to itself, right? That's why what's about to happen to it is going to flummox it. It won't see it coming until after it's already happened. That's the way all of these things always work. But there's no denying the fact that this system, this era, has reached a tipping point.
You'll notice that, when there's fluid morality, there's never really long-term consistent stability.
Again, video games and movies give you a sprinkle of truth in that knowledge. I mean, Assassin's Creed literally tells you we're in an underworld battle between knowledge of the haves and the challenge of that knowledge of the have-nots, and that's effectively the Order of the Templars against the assassin.
Suppose that's all, though, of sort of false duality. Suppose the whole thing is actually collapsible into a different mode of being understood. What if we could find a way to look at everything that we've been presented with anew and see new solutions?
Mm-hmm. I mean, you'll be proud of me, guys. I've actually gotten back into video games lately, so I'm playing through Assassin's Creed 3, which is a terrible game.
No, that was a terrible game.
I love the revolution aspect, but the fact of the matter is like when I look at it, the powers that be, Assassin's Creed 3 kind of tells that story of the fractures that you're talking about there, Greg. I mean, and the fact that everything is collapsible, because when you play Assassin's Creed 3 and then go and play Assassin's Creed Rogue, you kind of see just how human the Assassin Order really is, and you also kind of see, you kind of start a lot like kind of get that grandeur of where the Templars truly stand. Is like maybe the Templars have sort of a nestled idea of how the world should be shaped. They're just kind of confused, and maybe the assassins are kind of wrong. Like, we don't need chaos for freedom. Maybe too much order leads to tyranny.
Maybe the whole point of the series is that the forces of order and chaos must ever be at war for there to be any kind of balance.
That's what they call kayfabe.
That's exactly.
There's no 100% right and 100% wrong on each side. It's mixed in.
Right. But the question that I have is, what if we're framing it wrong altogether? What if the entire frame is built around this sort of idea that we know we can't fake when we look straight at the idea, like the sort of problem idea that's stuck with humanity despite the fact that it should have abandoned it long ago? What if that's actually the thing holding us back? And I think that I think there's an even chance that the reason that we're all currently fucking the world as we try our hardest to unfuck it, to put it bluntly, has to do with our obsession with global time. It's this pariah, this sort of third rail that you can't touch.
Put it up in the background.
Here's
watching over your shoulder. You know it's there, but you just can't catch it.
Why don't you read that question there too, Andrew?
And that's actually a really good question.
Mandatory digital ID. Knobhead Starmer is trying to make it a law here. I know that I've seen it. They're trying to find ways to implement it here.
They will never get that implemented here.
No.
It won't happen. They haven't taken away our guns.
I actually, you know what? As much as we have close to 400 million guns in the hands of the populace, but surprisingly enough, there is a way for them to get around that because they have better technology. They have drone. They can just drone strike you. And two, out of those 400 million guns in the hands of American individuals, most of those American individuals are just sportsmen, and most of them really would not last in a battle between your government.
Well, I mean, and there's also the fact that like most of what our ID system is going to consist of is going to be one-sided. Mm-hmm. We won't participate in our own surveillance. They'll just hide it from us and build profiles on each of us. That is actually more like what will happen here. It'll be kept secret from us that we've been ID'd to the level that we have been.
Yeah, that's why the next revolution is a digital one, not an outward violent one. I mean, if we want to go violent, then I'm sorry, gun nuts, you're probably going to wind up dead, and so is your families, because many of you don't.
Going violent is not the answer. That's
Yeah.
what they
Never-
want, man. That is exactly what they want.
Yeah, and that's the whole point. I mean, the reason is they've been the federal government understands this point, and that's why they've built an apparatus internally of a standing army, whether you want to call them that or not. That's why you have large scale standing army of militarized police. I mean, they learned their lesson from the Civil War, so they know they have to have a standing army ready, and and so now that we're in the modern age with digitization and technology and the internet and blockchain, we need to utilize that, because I think the revolution is agorist, not violent. We can't have 1776. We have to have 1971. Samuel Conkin.
Right. We need to have, for the first time in a long time, a right to refuse.
Mhm.
And then we need to make use of that right in mass.
Mhm.
Not in my name, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because who wants, I was thinking about this today. Who wants nobody wants to be a lawbreaker. Everybody wants to fucking follow the rules, but following the rules means sending money to, at least in fraction, like cluster bombs to Ukraine to be seeded into future playgrounds, for example. Right? Like, this is stuff that I don't want my money going to, frankly. Like, if somebody was like, hey, you want to get in on some cluster bombs so we can send them overseas? Like, fuck that shit. No, I don't want to get in on that. How is it that I have to pay for this? Like, it's infuriating, because like the fraction of it that I care about, like the small amount of food aid that actually makes it to needy people instead of scammers,
Right.
like, like the stuff that we really care about, the stuff that they immediately turn off as soon as there's a shutdown, right? Like, the bondholders still get paid, but the fucking food aid gets shut off. It's amazing how that works. But
The IRS still gets their funding, but your national parks are blocked off.
right. Oh yeah,
Only
the trees are out of business all of a sudden.
Yeah,
The weirdest thing ever. They must
That's
be hard. They must be hard to contract with, considering that you have to sign on stuff made of tree.
Also, you have a fan now, Greg, and you are amongst many good people. You are now amongst ClickTight on Katie's Wall of Fame.
Appreciate it.
Sweet.
Inside joke there. ClickTight
Promise.
is actually check out.
Not to let that go to my head and still say stuff to make you wish you hadn't said that. But also probably stuff that makes you wish you had continued to say it. So, point being is, I'm not going to get audience captured, but I do appreciate the awesomeness.
The trees are probably staging a protest.
Thank you. It's nice.
Mm-hmm. So,
No, I remember seeing an article, I don't know, maybe about a year ago, about a guy that was actively doing a tax protest, and he was gaining some traction. I don't remember what the guy's name was, but he was saying, I'm not going to pay my taxes because the way that they're
dangerous kind of.
Yeah. But he was making some progress in the courts. I'm sorry, I don't remember much about it. I just remember reading the headline, and I thought it was pretty wild. It was on the Drudge Report.
And I just have to say, I would frankly advise nobody engage in that kind of civil disobedience. That's stupid. That's the kind that always gets caught, and it's just the dumbest kind. Like, if you have any heart for the cause that you're fighting for, don't do that. Don't give them that easy win. Obey the tax laws. Like, do not violate the tax laws ever. Obey them assiduously, in fact.
I think it was something to do with abortion.
Al Capone went down on tax fraud.
Yeah, he was protesting abortion or something like that. Dude, like I said, that was like a year ago. Let me see if I can
actually come to think about it. Let's get theological on this point. At this point, right? Romans 13, which everybody misconstrues and takes completely out of context. But if you understand the concept of how Rome was, both empire and the city, And what Paul was doing in his direct authority and writing to the Romans, he was telling them to be on your best behavior. Like at some point you can counter them while simultaneously, he was basically being agoristic. He was telling them to be agoristic in praxis while while simultaneously obey the laws.
There are plenty of other ways to resist that don't get you thrown in jail, basically.
Exactly. So
we're already kicking hornets' nests with what we're saying. You know, like, why put your arm deep in one first?
Well, he was playing off of what the Gospel of Matthew would inevitably echo when it was finally put to paper, and Jesus fighting through the trap that was set for him. Render unto Caesar. So give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, because it really means nothing. So like pay your taxes, but at the same time build a parallel society that can break away from that system. But don't let them know,
because it doesn't mean
that
nothing.
You're breaking
Right?
away.
Unfortunately, it does mean it does mean the continued slaughter of children worldwide. Like, unfortunately, that's what it means.
Yeah, I mean, and
it's the exact kind of extortion we should all feel ourselves in, right? We're being extorted basically by a bunch of pedophiles so that they can kill children worldwide with bombs, like and different explosives. Like, that's kind of the game that we've all been racketeered into, and those are the Morlocks we pay for our Eloy lives here in America, right? To a certain degree.
Well, when you actually look into the context of that, and then you understand what we have today with blockchain and how it's evolving and adapting and innovating underground, even when overtly it's being co-opted with certain networks, Bitcoin. But I mean, the fact of the matter is you have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Use blockchain. Build parallel systems within the blockchain network so that you can remove a neat society outside of the system, so you're no longer effectively being forced into this extortion apparatus of pedophilia and child murder, which is what our governments all across the world are involved with their war racket.
Right.
I mean, but you're going to have to
involved with because we pay our taxes, right? But we have to. Because if we don't do that, then all of a sudden the machine will view us as a threat, right? We have to commandeer the machine. We can't get in its way. It's a meat grinder. That's what it's there for.
I'm also like, when we also look at this, like with the welfare system and how it is right now, like I was never the one to actually approve of this strategy, but realistically, another thing that you could do is go adversely possess your taxes and go take a hold of the system, go live within the system, like take what you can get from the welfare system, use it and abuse it for what it, because it's there. Let the system help collapse.
I wouldn't say that
while you're building a parallel system within your own life, within your own community, while simultaneously helping collapse the system that we're in. So like, use it. If that's how you want to try to build parallel systems, why not? Like be agoristic within the entitlement.
Well, I mean, I think the counter argument to that is it's kind of immoral money, right? It's money that's probably coming to you either from the printer and therefore being paid collectively by everybody in terms of cost to the currency. And then there's also the local cost of it, just like the more that gets paid out and successfully used to ends that don't result in arrests, basically, because those are the only cases that they care about, the ones that make them look embarrassed on the news.
I've been talking to Cassie too much, that's why.
I don't know. Just it seems to me that there's a danger there in letting such a system exist at all.
Actually, Katie brings up a good point, because the welfare system in England, and that's one reason why they're collapsing. Economically, they are just not viable, and one reason why they're completely outsourcing, and you have the migrant crisis, you really can't get by without being part of the system. And so that's what that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes you just need to use the system for what it is, whilst and like what Katie's doing, like right now, like
No, exactly. There's no dishonor. There's no dishonor.
Yeah, and what
using
she's doing right now is she's
Users.
actually building her own platform she's writing her own novel, right? I hope I could say that. We actually talked last week when she was in the chat, so I'll mention it. So she's actually doing her own parallel system while simultaneously using what
No,
the
this is exactly
So-
what I mean when I say the part of it that I
Yeah.
care about still happening,
Yeah.
right? Like
Mhm.
the part where it matters to people to survive. You know? Like that's why the US government shutdown sucked, even though I hated the idea of it ever ending. I wanted it to end because I knew that there were going to be some people suffering that I didn't want to be suffering.
But then at the same time, you don't want it to end because you know that even though it technically wasn't shut down, the element of it was they weren't borrowing anything for
right.
over
The
40
parts
years.
the parts that they kept running were the parts they should have shut down, frankly.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But the parts that they did shut down,
Yeah, but
good.
the service faces the payer, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. So
And the payer here is the bondholder in this case. So the bondholder is Goldman Sachs, right? And BlackRock.
Yeah.
And that's
And
why all the
Blackstone.
decisions that's why all the decisions favor what those companies want to have happen.
Well, that's where the Constitution and the 14th Amendment got muddled down. I mean, they used it to, on a positive, overt level, to say these newly freed black slaves are citizens. They effectively uplifted the idea of birthright citizenship because you had so many freed slaves now. You had to recognize them, but then it got co-opted through the courts and great corporate lawyers being able to argue personage to corporations starting in the 1870s and leading up to the 2012 2012 decision with Citizens United and so on and so forth that promotes this corporate oligarchy society. And so now you have corporations that run amok and everything runs with money. And then of course that 14th Amendment truly, with the National Bank Act signed in 1862, truly set up the system that we have today with the fiat currency and the going off the gold standard in 71 and the destruction of Bretton Woods to renew it under a new Bretton Woods. And then, of course, 1913 before that with the Federal Reserve Act. And then, of course, what Coolidge did in the 20s.
And, of course, the new Bretton Woods was just about as toilet paper as it was printed on, right? Like, because nobody fucking cared about the new one. The new one was basically like, that was the post Bush v. Gore moment where like all of a sudden precedent doesn't matter because they can have a single case that says we're going to completely pretend that this never happened.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Do you see the title, everybody? We're thinking like Einstein here.
Trying to.
And believe me, we'll have the towards the end of the show we'll have the nice surprise for you that goes into physics. But right now we're getting deep into the philosophy of everything. But before that, why don't you go to w.gg, type in Legacy Right on any order, get yourself some energy boost, and get yourself some W, 10% off on any order. Any order. It's not just your first order, it's any order. Besides like certain like name, like base name brands that they might have, but most of the majority of the orders you get 10% off. Go get yourself some W and stay wired.
Yep, and don't snort it.
Don't snort it, don't inject it, don't smoke it, Sean.
I can't find it. I'm looking. I'm all the way back in 2020.
What are you looking?
I'm trying to find the thing about the tax protest I was talking about.
Which one? There were many.
Well, I realized that, but the guy who was was trying to fight it through the courts.
The Tea Party. Was he a Tea
Yeah,
Party
right.
Oh,
guy?
you probably have to go to
I-
like.
I'm on the Drudge
Um,
Report archives, so
Hmm.
I have a way to search. But
You should
There's a
do.
lot
See, everybody.
Oh,
W is great for if you're a gamer, a podcaster, a student, or just basically have insomnia, and you don't want to crash, and you want to be woke up. W.
nice.
yeah,
See, this is
That's
accurate
that's
right
the
here.
that's the
Yeah.
cliff, man.
Hmm. As soon as I start earning money from my writing, I'll lose all my benefits. 'Tis why I'm getting this series written before approaching any publishers. Exactly. Put all the work into it. That's how markets work. That's how entrepreneurship works. You got to be productive, and through that production, you may not ever see a single penny for years, but you put in the work, and then you see the success.
Yeah,
But at the same, yeah,
absolutely.
but right now you live within the means that you can. That's actually how you
There's
gonna have
there's
to
a
do
lot of there's a lot of resources within everybody's reach that they can use.
it. Mhm.
Right.
I mean, I know guys that when I did Uber back in 2016, 2017, I knew dudes that were like that were doing driving for Uber at the time that were trying to set up their own side business in construction. They were driving Uber full time. Uh, as they were trying to set up their businesses. So like even like gigs, like using the app gigs, like that's another situation that you can do. You can strive to build up a business repertoire on the side.
Those used to be
Uh,
easier
yeah,
to do that
you,
with.
it was like back in 2016, 2017, it was easier to utilize like Uber and while you're doing a side gig. And then you had two gigs to fall back on. Now it's a little hard. Now you got to you got to use the old noodle to try to figure out, brainstorm what you want to get into. So it is a little more difficult now, but you can also,
But there are a lot of opportunities to be had out there.
one is if you're a great influenceable person, you can jump on X and skyrocket a viral tweet. I don't even care if you want to get 7,000 shekels for Israel for some bullshit. Who cares, man? Take that 7,000 and go flip it and invest it in a side business. So use Israel's 7,000 shekels for your entrepreneurial pursuit.
Does if it helps you.
Mm-hmm. William says side gigs
Yeah,
suffer
they do.
from saturation and poor economy that kills, and that's the problem with it. Is
Well, I
there
mean,
is too much saturation. That's
they
a problem with
also
the
stripped it
economy.
of its true benefit, right? Like the surge pricing thing that people used to not complain
Yeah.
about, but the media complained about a lot.
Mhm.
right.
Right? Like surge pricing just meant the service is busy. If you aren't really
Uh-huh.
that in need of it, then come back later. That's what it says.
Exactly.
And
I remember like when I did Uber back in 16, 17, like I was making bank actually. I was probably making
Right.
anywhere between like on a bad week I'd make like $500 to $700. That's if I really just didn't want to work. And on a really good
Right.
week, I was making like $2,000 just
Right.
driving. And
and that's like if you sort of figure out when surge times were going to be based on
that's
local
how I worked
events, then you were
Yeah.
ready to go when the money was good.
Yeah, that's
Right?
how I
Like
worked
that
it. Like
was the
I
game
would
back then.
my day to day, I'd work like 5 days, mainly in the morning. I'd work just the airport. I would literally just work the airport, but then I'd come out on Friday, and then sometimes Saturday if there was an event, but always Friday, just because of Thursday and Friday for the bar scene. I would go out in the evening and stay out till like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning for them surge pricing, and then events, it was over. Like so, like that's how you worked it back then. Like you worked it a couple of, like through the morning hours at the airport, and then you worked the nights on the weekend, and you made money.
Yeah,
Now
exactly.
you can't really do that.
Right, because they don't have that kind of pricing anymore. Now it's more just regulated. Basically, it's been taxified for all intents and purposes.
Mm-hmm. It's less agorism and more state capitalism.
And what happens when they try to do something like that with security?
Mainly there to protect taxi medallion bondholders.
When they try to do that with security market, right? I mean, there are people that have been trying to actively, Uberize the security field, and eventually you get to the point where you just, basically fall down to the same rabbit hole that they do with the taxi, with the Uber, but with the police and security. It's just going to be back to the same old drawing board.
I think what we really need is someone to get the original L1 substrate right for blockchain, right? Like the original idea where there were no side chains, there were no L2s. It was just this one machine that ran a world computer of money that nobody could stop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and throw in smart contracts and it can do complex finance nobody can stop or whatever, right? That was the original idea.
Mm-hmm.
Where did that idea go? The idea seems to have gone into the compromises around scaling the thing that they built.
Well, I think everybody got comfortable with the idea that they had to shut the internet down in order for for them to stop blockchain, and with that comfort, they took advantage and they co-opted the movement like they always try to do. At least
right. You also have to shut the internet down to stop X, but that doesn't make X decentralized either.
No, it doesn't.
But you can make X decentralized. It just might take some time.
Yeah. I mean, there are alignment choices that have to be made with the current blockchain ecosystem that already compromise it.
I mean, the development is in a degree decentralized because there's so many different teams trying out with different things and setting new projects, but it's just not fast enough. I mean, and it's going pretty quick. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, it's still compared to what we're facing. It's a mountain and a molehill.
I suspect there's an actual architecture that would work. One that could actually do what was originally promised, pretty close to just pure proof of work, but powering a machine that could gracefully scale horizontally. I think that's possible.
I'm trying to think of what that mechanism could be. Quantum physics.
Oh, whatever it might take, it certainly can't be done if you have a global monolithic clock.
One-to-one scaling, right?
What does your fave word rhyme with? Asking Katie. There's a word I love to say, but if I write it on here, I'd probably get in trouble with YouTube.
There's too many words to actually know which one.
My favorite word that rhymes with a certain word is blue. Get it?
You guys remember when you couldn't say mask?
Oh yeah, the mask. And now you can say Thunder Hunt.
Aha.
Surprisingly enough, actually, you can say that word that rhymes with hunt on YouTube. You just can't be small.
Grunt. Grunt. Okay, got it.
Right.
Grunt. It's grunt. Blunt. Brunt. Front. Blunt. That one's for Sean Collins, everybody. So Buds in Reality at 7, or I think, is it 7 p.m. Eastern on YouTube.
Is he touching grass right now?
Probably not. He's probably
okay.
touching a bottle of whiskey and a gummy. That one's for you there, Sean.
Oh, Thunderbunt. We were talking about baseball. I get it.
Yeah, I get it.
Thunderbunt. Baseball, I don't know. Baseball might be dead. So, Greg, what if all the AIs had a single portal to all the other AIs? Everyone earned from bettering their lives with AI and was paid by all the AIs.
That would be neat. It sounds like a neat world. The question is, what does that mean, right? Like, to me, when I hear AI, I hear several different things. I hear LLM. I hear some of the intelligence they're actually putting into the self-driving cars, which is pretty lifelike in reality. They're kind of getting closer to what they should be doing there than anything else. And then there's the agentic people who are trying to hook LLMs to essentially gaming grids, where you penalty reward movements across some kind of multi-dimensional landscape represented by the data, and the thing will home in on a strategy that lets it solve your problem kind of persistently, right? It's not a bad way to build a machine, but it will make it feel like it has kind of a soul to it that it won't actually have, right? So it'll be good at doing tasks that you leave it to, but it'll still, at its heart, be just an LLM that's getting fed prompts by a recurring game world, which is not what a human is, right? It's not a brain. That's not a mind. So to a certain degree, we still won't be unlocking artificial intelligence with that. We'll just be coming up with like a simulation of intelligence that gets a lot done. So from that sense,
yeah. But could you utilize that ability through creating even simulations of intelligence, create a system based on UBI, sort of in like a replicator Star Trek idea, so that you could have a post-labor economic world?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. To the extent that anybody's particular, so like everybody who has played around with AI has tuned one to themselves, right? Where they talk to it and it sounds kind of like your own inner monologue to a degree, right?
Yeah.
Because that's ultimately what these things are. Is they're great fluency mirrors. They reflect back your own ideas. Anything that's come to you out of an LLM is just you talking to yourself in a world where you have an ideal level of knowledge, an ideal level of words to say the thing that the prompt is trying to get completed, but it's still going to be in your voice, and that will not be avoidable, right? Like, I guess you can tell it to be in other people's voices, but only then, not just automatically default to reflecting back your own voice.
Echo chamber.
Yeah,
How do
exactly. It's a very, very good parrot, a very, very smart parrot.
Yeah. Now, to co-opt off of that, and I see the conversation that Katie and William are having, I'm not going to bring them up. Self-driving cars, how do we get it into the psyche of society to understand that it could be possible, it could be safer?
Here's the thing with car accidents is most people die in car accidents because they hit an object on the side of the road. They fall asleep. Mm-hmm. They hit something immobile. They run into an embankment. They run into a tree. They run into some bullshit. They run into a wrecked car on the side of the road that ran into something else. I mean, people die when they hit inanimate objects way more often. Like, even just going into a steep ditch will be a collision if you're going fast enough, right? That's how most people die in car accidents. And self-driving cars are already proven to keep people from doing that, like, to a high degree.
Not even just self-driving, just the self-sensor.
Yeah, just like autopilot on the highway, like the old 2018 version of autopilot that doesn't even do city streets.
Mm-hmm.
Far safer than, in fact, I've experienced that thing keeping me from basically falling asleep at the wheel before. I rented one for a trip to Denver, and damn thing saved my life.
Yeah. I mean, as far as like regulations go, that is probably holding up the technological innovations. Self-driving cars would be amazing. I mean, to actually get it out there into the scope of things with the regulations. I mean, you got the reason for all the regulations is you have all these lobbying groups from all these big energy companies, as well as the big tech that are kind of.
And I don't think the regulation around them is insane. I think that it would be insane to let them run experiments on the streets without having proven that they were basically safe, right? Like, that would be nuts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and I can see the reason why people would want that. I don't necessarily think that you need federal people to figure that problem out. Like that seems more like a local authorities can figure that out with the people doing the thing kind of situation. But to me, the idea that we have to make them perfect before we use them is a problem, because the second they're a little bit better than people, they're saving lives.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of this one right here? Like the ability of these technologies, these computer systems, and this tech being hacked and causing accidents.
It's a problem we got to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
We have to. I mean, we definitely have to. We have to really be aware of it from the start, because it's going to happen. It probably has already happened to a certain degree, because car systems are open. I don't know if you know this, but they're like radios at all 4 of your tires right now, basically just broadcasting open channels that can be infiltrated by people driving close to you. Like, that's your current car if you bought one after 2010, but before. I think Tesla has a more secure system, but just a little more secure, not that much more secure. You know, it's kind of a mess, actually, how hackable cars are in general.
This is
so yeah. There's a problem with the whole thing, right? Like this, especially when you can hack AI by presenting it with certain visuals.
This is actually another provision in, say, a lobbying group, right? The manufacturer.
I can imagine a code injection attack triggered by a QR code that causes a self-driving car to access an internet site and download an exploit package, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that would cause it to drive its occupants to some location I told it to.
Mm-hmm. The problem I have with, like, say, the government intervention, and William brings it up right here, is the fact that you have laws that are now on the books in several states.
That's fucked up.
That police can hack in. They can. It's not really hacking. There's laws where there has to be a specific protocol in the system to where you shut it down. You can easily shut it down.
But real security, if we were looking for real security from our government, what we would be having them do is disclose the security holes they find as they look for weak spots.
Yeah, rather than a back door that just shuts it down and puts the single mother and
they should be reporting that to manufacturers so those holes can be closed, is what they should be doing.
Yeah.
That would actually be making people safer, because then it wouldn't be hackable by just anybody.
But of course, what government wants to do is they want to erode your rights as a human being and your right to free association and free travel and your person, and put a mother and her 3 kids in her SUV on the side of the road, waiting for a cop to show up with.
It's always been a hammer, right? Like, it's always been a hammer. The tool has always, in fact, been a hammer. It does what it does when you point it at a problem. It hits a nail, right? And if we are going to use government to solve problems, we have to recognize that most of what it accomplishes is at the barrel of a gun point, or the point of a gun.
Well, actually, power shapes people's, perspective of what their rights are.
Right.
Actually,
but ultimately, it comes down to do you want to keep your store open? Okay, because we'll come in here with guns and shut it down if it's a pharmacy and it's not compliant or whatever, right? Like,
I'm actually
they won't let you just run it. They'll come in with guns and shut it off.
The market's going to dictate. The market's going to regulate itself in some capacity, even whether it's forced to or not. But the fact is like people losing jobs to self-driving cars. I think that's a net positive, because honestly, look at the retards that are on the road driving the semis. And it's not just foreigners. I hate to break it to you. It's a lot of it's just a bunch of stupid guys. Yeah. They have
stories about truck drivers who use like the Google
Suppose though the drivers own instead the fleet is the thing that I would say to that. Yeah. Suppose the drivers own the fleet. Suppose instead of having a job driving, you own a car that drives.
I was actually, speaking of that, I'm going to go back to my Uber story again. I met this other dude who was actually a doctor on hiatus. at the time, and he was doing it. We were actually, he ended up like disappearing, but we actually were like planning and brainstorming a partnership, a business proposition with each other while we were doing this. We'd sit at the airport and just plan. We never fruition, but we were thinking about starting to. We wanted to get a bunch of like little like those taxi vans. We wanted to get a couple of those, start using the Uber app, hire people, and then like start like shifting, like have shifts out on a single account where people go out and actually work Uber, and then we just split it amongst employees. Like we would get our cut, and then we gravitated down towards what they their labor incurs for what they've been doing. So it never fruition, but we were actually, but it was interesting you brought up fleet, because me and him, we spent a lot of mornings like sitting like for 2-3 hours in the middle of the day when the airport's really busy in the lot, but there's nothing coming in yet until about 1, just plotting, figuring out how do we utilize this Uber thing.
I mean, think about like this, like right now people go out and take their own cars out. What if the car just goes out for you, right? Like that's a lot. Then you might spend the resources to get a second car going, right? Because if you can anticipate the need for it, then you can probably borrow to get it on the basis of an expanding business, right? So you can probably have an entire new small business loan ecosystem in just buying automated capital. So people will probably be able to get loans really easily to get like another humanoid robot or whatever.
And
imagine a lot of early microfinance going on around this, right? Yeah. This is the world where human beings, instead of big corporations, own the fleets of things that run the world.
We can already
because they can be coordinated with software into an army of labor, right? Like you can send your 2 or 3 robots off to join another 50 on a major construction project.
I mean, we already kind of have an inkling of that with a human force when it comes to like the small loans, but it's direct. Like Amazon and its Flex Fleet are all basically independent LLCs under the Amazon bill. So why not expand something out like that where you have this fleet of automated technology, self-driving vehicles and robots that are delivering, and then you create an ecosystem of a new market that people can jump into. Because everybody needs their delivery, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I think that there's also a chance too to do something kind of new, because we haven't really thought about this in terms of an ecosystem of robots, right? Like it doesn't make sense for them all to be humanoid or all to be drones or all to be on wheels or whatever, right? It makes more sense to have them be a whole bunch of different kinds of weird shapes and craziness.
A variety,
right? Yeah. So like, what does that look like from a logistics standpoint? Does that look like a linear system, or does it look more like a coral reef in action in terms of supply chain and all of the interactions these things are going to have with the human world, taking over a lot of these positions that used to cost a lot in human hours, but now are going to be free in labor, but mostly driven by the ideas that people have.
I'd like to thank Amity and Free for reposting the stream on X, and we're going to take another ad break, everybody. So go get yourself some fucking W, all right? Excuse my language. Go get caffeinated healthily. It's a healthy caffeine intake where you don't have the crash, and everything is just there. You don't get the crap that's in a Monster. Let's just put it that way. So go get yourself some W. Go over to w.gg. Go order some W. Do not snort it, everybody, and get 10% off your order, all right? So it gives us a little something, but not very much, obviously. But it allows us to keep doing this. So, and then it also allows Andrew to get hair. He can finally afford the hems.
You can tell I finally got a haircut. Maybe I'll actually get some hair next.
Nice.
So,
Nice of them to pre-cut all that luxurious hair you'll one day have.
Right. It's called prep for a reason.
Yeah, especially when you finally get on that HIM subscription for your ED medication and your hair follicle cream. You can finally get a hard-on Andrew and hair at the same time.
A hairy, raging
boner
vitality will be coursing through you.
Male vitality.
Yeah, super male vitality.
I don't know. Did him steal Alex Jones, or did Alex Jones steal him?
I don't know. Once he gets back from his invasion, yeah, we'll find out.
I don't know what is going on with Alex Jones now. Is he now just straight up off the rails?
Well, he's
I
definitely.
imagine he's probably quite afraid at this point. I would be if I were that guy.
I don't blame.
Like,
I mean,
if you've got a bunker, I'd be in a bunker if I were him.
Yeah.
Way too many like crazies out there, probably on the prowl for another trophy kill.
So, what do you think about the thing about Tim Pool? Do you think that really somebody shot at his place, or?
I wouldn't put it past.
I wouldn't put it past it, but at the same time, who knows? I mean, he's such clickbait. I mean, anymore.
I mean, one would hope. What was it that there wasn't there like a scandal that boiled over into some nonsense about some guy getting jumped in Chicago or something like that?
I think so.
He claimed that some guys in Trump hats acted like a bunch of racists, and then he got found out as a liar. He was all fake, and it was caught enough in public that the people who got targeted with the accusation actually were able to press the exactly
Smoothly,
right.
or
that
whatever.
one. That one.
Not smoothly.
That ancient history of the internet piece that I'm excavating and dusting off for this comparison.
Yeah, he said that he got jumped by three guys in MAGA hats, and they were racist. They beat him up because he was black, but in reality, it came out that it was all fake and it didn't happen.
Getting shot at by left-wing extremists is a similar maneuver.
Exactly. It really, and it fits the narrative today, and it kind of actually shows like where the political draw goes. Like when the left is in power, they hold the narrative, and when the right is in power, they hold the narrative. So politics is fake, gay, and satanic.
It certainly maps to purple empire behavior. Just where they're just managing which fluctuation side of the mob is the most flared up at the moment.
If only people could just realize that to be a true leftist is to be somebody who just wants to be left alone and build parallel systems and escape.
Wasn't that the sign of the manager play people against each other?
The horseshoe theory stuff is not a coincidence. No, actually, because the extremes of both groups mostly are asking to have the right to exit in a different way, one or the other.
Mm-hmm. One is trying to enslave you as a communist asset, and the other is trying to put you in prison camps in El Salvador.
Yes, and for whatever reason, libertarians remain fringe.
Yeah, libertarians get off the internet and go build something. I actually 3 days ago, I actually said exactly that in a little tweet. Go read that. Get off the internet, libertarians, and go build something.
Wait, if they're reading it, they're not off the internet, though.
Well, yeah. Get on the internet, read it, and then go out and build something.
Yeah.
And that goes for us too. I mean, obviously.
If you build it, they will come.
Yes, Andrew. We're gonna go to Iowa. We're gonna go to Iowa. We're gonna go to the actual field that they used, and we're going to renovate it and build it even bigger and larger than Yankee Stadium, and we're going to make baseball great again.
You do that, I'm going back to
Yep.
Wyoming.
Mhm. I'm going to Colorado, homie. I got homies there.
I got family that lives out there, but I never talked to them.
You got family in
Well-
Colorado too.
Yeah. Well, they used to live in Ohio, but they
Yeah.
went out there to work.
The core
Is that
echelon
a-
of the accelerationist front is probably going to be forming right around Starbase, Texas. So there's
Hold up.
all of the people moving here are probably just like pure accelerationists right now. It's pretty funny.
That's true as well. We have friends and we have family all over Texas, Arkansas, Colorado, Wyoming, Florida, Michigan. Fuck you, Sean. 27-9. I just had to say that. Oh, and breaking
All
news.
is dry.
And breaking news: Sharon Moore is most likely fired. Goodbye, Sharon.
The interesting thing about being on the fringe of all the stuff, on the outside of it, where everybody who's listening to this is, right, is that we're the ones who they used to convince by keeping the system boxed in to just a bunch of options. We're the ones who they used to sort of force a false choice onto, and then society would crumble the way once they convinced enough people who were outside of the influence sphere were influenced. What would naturally happen, right? The cascade we're setting up by just being here, not being on their message, is already a victory in the making.
Well, I mean, it's not built on a solid foundation. Their narrative, it's built on, loose ties and trying to maintain a sense of morality and, virtue, but it's just it's not consistent. It's always going to fall apart.
Right.
It's on quicksand.
For sure. But if you're out here, you're one of the ones that they used to just convince by not having any more than 3 channels. But
Yeah.
you were the ones that they had to convince. Still are.
Yeah. It's a losing game.
That's why
Speaking
we
of-
always win.
Well,
Because the right
speaking of
side,
a win,
the right side of history is made up of all the people who get it right.
well, speaking of a winning strategy, because we're at the top of the hour, couple 3 minutes past the top of the hour, so I think it's time to probably start wrapping up. Because we all know that nobody wants, as much as we want to continue, we know that everybody likes to go to sleep after the first 30 minutes. But the surprise that we were going to do that we announced from last week, Greg, that you showed us backstage, we should show everybody the inner workings of what quantum physics can do for the reality of everything pretty much.
You mean the code pen?
The code pen, yeah.
We should pull the. So this is just, this is pretty wild. Actually, I've been doing some pretty interesting additional ones too. Let's see if I can pull this up. There we go. Oh,
While
wow.
he pulls
the
it up,
browser, they really do animate the shit out of it, don't they? All these things are
Mhm.
running in the background at the same time. Okay, I'm going to share my screen.
should be able to just share it, but I'm prepared.
Can you see it?
Oh, yes.
So interestingly, I'll give a guided tour. It's interesting. This one, there's a clock that's set to just like count seconds locally in the browser, but the pulse is timed entirely by the math of this. And what you should notice is it's perfectly in sync regardless.
That's pretty dope.
Pretty wild, right?
Yeah.
This is
So-
all code, everybody. Literally being
Yeah,
light.
this
and
is
color.
actually not just code. This is just CSS. This loads when
Mhm.
like this could run on a
Mhm.
potato, basically.
It's fascinating. I mean,
Yeah.
a potato.
Okay,
As
so-
long as you can learn how to regulate those microwaves, you could basically use just about anything, and you have unlimited energy. Effectively,
So I was just playing with some different like
theoretically.
this one's kind of amusing to watch. Again, like
Go with the flow.
20. This one gets a little bit up there in the CSS territory. This is like 100 some odd lines of code. It's pretty wild, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try. This one's pretty fun. So that's just like the last one, but straight line.
Yeah.
Each one's just slightly out of phase. But again, like not very many crazy, or not a very crazy amount, like 173 lines of code grand total.
That's not bad at all.
103 grams of heroin.
Now we get to some of the more interesting ones.
So
We'll go
when
here
we
first.
cancel from YouTube again? Like and subscribe
is
on
it?
YouTube.
So
Why
this
don't
is
you do
literally
that?
just a grid being run by that avalanche equation that you saw in the previous. And so you see these pulses that go from really dim to really bright. This is not programmed. It's just a gradient being bloomed across some avalanches. It's a trip to watch, isn't it?
It is.
This is how many lines? Let's say, yeah,
If you
45
want more-
lines of code, roughly.
If you want more of this, head over to YouTube, everybody, and ring
Freaking
that
nuts.
bell.
This one's pretty cool too. This is my favorite, actually. I was saving it for later. It's better if you zoom out because you can get some like 3D effects with it.
Oh, that's dope.
Not a trip.
Yeah, this one I like. This one you showed us last week when we went off air. I mean, it's just amazing how condensed it is and the way that it just flows. It's literally like a slug.
All
like
that
slug.
from
That one reminds me of when I was a kid and me and my brother would go out after a nice rain on a
108
warm,
lines of
humid
code.
day.
Not bad, right?
So for
Not bad for
108 lines,
CSS.
but for 108 lines of code to make me remind myself of having slug wars with my brother.
Look, I can't hear you guys. I should probably hang on.
Uh-oh.
He'll be back in just a minute. He's probably just dropping
Wait.
his signal and coming back.
Uh-oh. So Andrew, what do you think about that? What do you think that what Greg has shown us, what do you think that does for us in the scheme of things in this world? Especially
Well, I mean,
energy.
if you can be precise in what your goals are, you can reach a lot of different things. And I've always been kind of interested in how programming works and just what you could get away with. They call them killer app, right? You can do a lot of different things with the limited amount of resources.
And I think that's what
So-
Tesla promoted.
If you
Tesla
can scale up,
can-
if you scale up from there with being conservative with your resources, you can accomplish a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And that's
So-
the problem with society is like Tesla actually gave us the concept, but we have yet to truly scale it. And we finally can scale that concept up and find something viable in it. So
Yes. Exactly. So I don't know how much of the audio you guys were able to catch because my audio cut after a little bit there, and I
We-
lost track of everybody.
We heard you, so it must
So
have
you
been
were
on
able to
your
hear me
side.
going through that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I hope.
Cool.
Yeah, and if me
So-
and Andrew, I hope everybody else was able to too. So I think we all heard you. It sounded like you just your old
You're
Mac.
taking drop on your end.
Yeah, your old Mac is finally showing its age.
Yeah, no, I think it's been showing its age for some time, but nonetheless, like that was on my Mac running an absurdly simple bit of math that just requires you to know the coordination number 13.81, and you can coordinate roughly any system that uses avalanches to do kind of avalanche engineering. And it sort of just works. It's the damnedest thing because it really shouldn't work. Like that shouldn't form the kinds of complex order that you're getting from it. It
Right.
should collapse into chaos. By any other metric, it would. Like you have to dial in the coordination number and control that in however you have to. Like in a neural net, it means wiring in lateral decision making capacity across spiked neural networks, which is not an obvious thing to do.
Yeah, it's okay. You're not the only ones.
Right over my head.
It's okay. Like there's a whole bunch of ways this is going to apply. The point is there's a whole bunch of ways this knowledge can apply to make things that haven't been working all that well for us start working a lot better.
Well, I think William said it best. Less code equals less energy. So
Yeah.
more code means more energy. Find a balance between the two, and I think that's what this concept is you're trying to find a balance between what code can you implement for what energy source. Go ahead, Greg.
Well, the monolithic global clock has been an assumption in computing and therefore in control software since the beginning of both, right? If at a certain point the requirements of that global monolithic clock get in the way of the requirements of some of the things we're trying to build working properly, how do we build them in a way that still makes sense? I think it's going to be the next big engineering challenge. How do you re-architect around the idea that time isn't as simple as that, and it not only that, but it costs us energy to reduce it to that in a way that we pay a higher tax the longer the monolithic clock runs.
Well, at a certain point, we run against a wall where we have to answer a question like that. You know,
Exactly.
and
Or we fade as a civilization. Like,
derogatory.
I imagine a lot do when they run into this.
That's what Greg is here for. I don't know what I've done.
I shouldn't go down these rabbit holes, man.
That's all right.
They take it out of you, but sometimes you find stuff. So sometimes you find stuff that you feel like you have to bring back, and I think this is one of them. So for what it's worth, I've done experiments that we haven't even talked about yet that confirm a lot of this stuff.
Interesting.
And moreover, it's going to enable us to do some really even more amazing shit that we're going to keep pushing out as we go. And of course, always in the spirit of science, we're going to be testing to make it fail, right? So every experiment we do is going to be designed to prove definitively if the experiment fails that our theory is wrong. So every time we put something to the test, we put it to the test for real. It's not glorifying in the rightness of our idea. It's trying to find all of the points where it predicts things that shouldn't happen that we can access and poke. And if we can access and poke them and they happen, even though they shouldn't happen, then we'll not succeed at disproving the idea. But we'll keep trying to disprove the idea in all the ways we can think of. And then maybe we'll get somewhere closer to something we can call true.
And that's why we call it the Demon's Core.
Yeah.
Well, with that, everybody, if you'd like to go down more rabbit holes, join us tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern for World Blockchain Roundtable, live on YouTube and X. And we're going to go down the rabbit hole of time machines and blockchain.
Sweet.
Wormholes.
It's apropos.
Blockchain wormholes. So we're going to combine Bitcoin with Star Trek mythos, basically.
Yep. And anybody with a stomach for pre-release research out there too, I've got some that anybody who wants to read it is welcome to read. So, audience, just give me a shout. You can find me on X, Design Heretic. I'll send you a copy of what I am currently working on.
Cool. So Design Heretic, DM Greg, at Design Heretic. Get with them, learn some stuff, get some resources. He's willing to provide. So, and then as for us, let's do some plugging. World Blockchain Roundtable, obviously tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to escape the realm of reality and get a nice little weekly timeline cleanse, join, although it may be Wednesday soon. Wednesday's at 8:30 Eastern. But Monday at 8:30 Eastern is Technically Trek. If you want to dive into Star Trek and what is technically Star Trek, episodic woes and exploits and discussions, as well as much more lively interaction, which you can actually join as well. There's always a link. Go check out Technically Trek every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And then don't forget, and in about less than 40 minutes, the man of the hour, that filthy Wolverine from south of Detroit, Buds in Reality goes on air. So don't miss Buds in Reality every Wednesday, so long as he has a guest at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on Rumble, X, and YouTube. So, and don't forget to go get yourself some W with that 10% code. Scrolling down at the bottom or the top, bottom or top, depending on where you're rolling at. So, yeah, because Andrew needs hair plugs severely.
Yep.
So, anything else for you guys today?
Just don't snort the W, and we'll be cool.
Yeah. We don't want to get reports of you going to the emergency room for a joke or a meme. But I mean, weird things happened before.
And speaking of Technically Trek, there are lots of laughs. There are lots of laughs, which is what we need in this society, because we're lacking a lot of civil discourse, and we're lacking a lot of humanity because we're not humbling ourselves, and we're just spending too much time trapped in our own little echo chamber culture that we've created in this centrally decentralized systems of social media, when in reality, use social media correctly to connect with people and just have fun, everybody. Just have fun. And so break the algorithms of life.
Make stuff.
So, and then on top of that, if you don't join Technically Trek, Katie, who has been in the chat today, is on there, and you can listen to her cackle. That's always hilarious. You might even get a surprise back, Katie, as well, because her camera likes to do weird things and flip her upside down and zoom in on her, and it's pretty hysterical. You will get a laugh. So, anything else, fellas, that we want to dive into?
I'm looking forward to tomorrow World Blockchain Roundtable. It'll be pretty fun. Always is.
Yeah. Just
congratulations.
Yeah, keep fighting a good fight out there, guys. If you're over in a less free speech zone, man, we're with you here.
Unity. It's time. It's time to take. You know how the left used to have, the old school liberals used to have the think globally, act locally. Or yeah, we need to take that slogan back. So shout out to Two Free Mike on that one. So we need to think globally but act locally. That's how we get back to this mindset. So because we're all in the same herd, we're all striving to work to better our lives and our societies and our communities We need to understand that the world is huge, but locality matters because community and friendships and relationships matter. Because that's how we expand. That's how we expand globally. So, I mean, it's never been so much more easy to expand globally. So, I mean, we got all three of us on this screen right now. I'm in Indiana, Andrew's in South Carolina, Greg's in Texas.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Katie's all the way allegedly in England and up very late, and William is in Texas in the chat. I mean, everybody's from everywhere.
Confirmed.
That's so utilize
or drift into international waters, one or the other.
Yeah, exactly. So don't drift in the international waters. Something might happen.
You're right. That will get you commandeered these days.
That'll get you drunk.
Nowhere near any major conflict zones.
No, don't go in the international waters. We love you. Don't uninstall yourselves.
Just give up Crimea. Everything will be fine.
Just give up. Just give up all the drugs.
It's okay. It's a secret submarine base.
Yeah.
In Sevastopol.
From Russia.
Mother Russia. Well, anyways, everybody, we're gonna drop off. You have a good rest of the evening, and jump on Buds in Reality and call him a baldy. Quote 2 Kings 2:23-24, and tell him that Zach sent you. Peace, everybody.
Go on, bald head. Thanks for watching.
Fuck.